Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Kenya with BK Trading Academy, and in today's video, we are going to talk about how to create your own trading system. So if this is something that you have really been interested in wanting to do, I'm going to show you how to do that because it is so ridiculously easy, especially once you really have confidence and knowledge and you know what you're doing. But if you're a developing trader and you've been desiring to do this, I'm just going to show you how to do it because it's really simple. So let's talk about a few different things that you want to consider. We're going to hop right in. So what I recommend is that you take some notes, jot down some helpful tips in this video, and then go put them to work in the market, okay? We have been trading for years now. We have been very successful at this. We know what we're doing. We know what we're talking about. And all I recommend is that when we share something, you go and test it for yourself, see how it works for you, and you can continue to learn around our content if you'd like. So we are going to hop right in. So I'm going to use Euro NZD as an example because I do see an opportunity that is shaping up, and I'm going to talk about what I'm seeing. And this is going to be more from a swing trading perspective. So I'm going to show you how to take a particular style, and whether if you're a swing trader, position, scalper, intraday trader, you can make this work to your advantage. Now, when you are considering developing your own system, there's a few things that you need to consider. So number one, you definitely want to consider your motivation. What is your goal, or what do you want to get out of this in terms of your approach? What do you want this whole thing to look like? So for example, you have to consider your trading style. Are you a swing trader? Are you a scalper? Because your motivation might be, I just want to go in and make some quick profits in the market, and then I want to pull out, right? Or if you're a swing trader, you work, you're busy, you don't have much time. Maybe you want to just find a great setup where you're able to ride the daily trend or the weekly trend and be able to profit from that. And that is part of your motivation, is being patient and waiting for those type of setups. So sorry about that. We just hit a take profit target. So that is always good news. But anyway, so when you consider your motivation, you're then going to determine your trading style. So for example, if I'm looking at Euro NZD, I'm more of a swing trader. So I am going to approach this from a swing trading perspective. My goal typically is to turn a certain percentage of profit a month. I used to do a daily goal of a certain dollar amount, but I don't like doing that anymore. So I find that's what's more effective for me is to focus on a percentage of my profits per month. Okay. So for example, 10, 12%, 15%, you establish your goal and then you go off of that. And I feel that it helps to keep me more patient in the market instead of saying, I'm going to make $500 a day or $1,000 in a day. That could be a lot of pressure and also lead you to make very misguided decisions. So I don't really recommend that. So let's go ahead and look at this. So when you're looking at developing your own system, one of the rules, you only need 3 good rules, maybe 3, 4 good rules as to why you want to enter the market. And the reason why you want to have a rules-based strategy is because if you don't have rules for why you're entering the market, you're just always going to execute trades with little to no thought. And that could increase your percentage of losses. So in this case, looking at Euro NZD, notice how we're on the monthly time frame. And if we look at the simple market structure, we can see that this pair is making higher highs and also higher lows. So if we simply just follow the market structure, this is a higher high, here's a higher low, here's a higher high, and now we are coming to retest a previous high that could potentially become our low, just as it was here, and it's still higher than our previous higher low. We want to follow the market structure. So my first rule could be that I want to enter a trade in a trending market. So if this is off the monthly and I'm a position trader, I could trade off the monthly, or let's say for example I am a swing trader and I like to trade off the weekly time frame. So maybe one of my rules would be I have to have either a clear uptrend or a downtrend on the weekly. No sideways trends. That could be a rule, right? So in this case, we have a bullish uptrend, and I'm just going to define that by drawing my trend line here. So here is my trend line on the weekly. I could even start it from, I was started from there, but everyone's a little different in how they draw their trend lines. I can even do something like this and just bring it out a little bit, okay, if I want to give it room. But typically when you have a previous downtrend and you notice the shift in your trend, so notice here that we had a previous downtrend, we broke above this high, created a new high, but then we created a significantly lower low instead of continuing that trend to the upside. So the trend kind of went all over the place. We sort of had an overextended inverted head and shoulder, okay? And you can see we had a right shoulder. We also had a left shoulder. Price then proceeded to the upside, broke this high, but then look where it came back to retest. It didn't come here. It broke even lower. So it could be pretty tricky when you're drawing your trend lines and everything, but the main thing is that you want to look at where the trend started and you want to start to connect those lows. So look here how we did have a down movement and then we formed a low. We had a move to the upside. We then had price dip down again. We have an overextended double bottom. And then we broke the neckline here. Price broke above, but came back and retested right here. So I'm simply going to just draw my trend line. I can take it from this lowest low, or I can simply just draw my trend here. Okay, so I can do that. And that's good enough for me right there. Okay. So now that I have a trending structure, I can see with my naked eye that I do have an uptrend. So I am now going to look for my level. All right. So I'm now going to see, okay, I see the prices coming down and I know that we're still in an uptrend. So in order for this trend to be taken out, I see this as the most recent low, right at 1.75, like 44 or so, 45. And price is nearing that area, right? But I also see before that, we wicked right within this zone right here. So right between like 74.81 to 75.15. So price could go and retest that area for a possible long entry. And look, this same area was also very strong previous resistance back in September and October of 2022. So in this case, this could be an entry area for me. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight this zone right here. And I want to see how the market reacts off of it as it approaches the area. So now I have a trending structure. That's my rule number one. My rule number two is that I have a level that I'm focused on in trading it. Okay, so I wait for price to get to my level or my entry reason, and then I'm going to determine why I want to enter. So this is where I could either do a few things. I can look for more confluences. And what are some of those confluences? Well, guys, I could look for something like an RSI confirmation, right? So if I simply wanted to do an RSI confirmation, I could go ahead and add the RSI. So I could do something like this. Okay, so I can add an RSI confirmation. So now you can see my RSI. I have a 7-period RSI. And my upper band is at the 80 level because I like it to be on 80, and my lower band is at the 20 level. However, if you have a confirmation at like the 30, that could be a confirmation as well too. So right at the 30 level of the RSI is very popular. Now, one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and remove this trend line. So I have a trending structure, price is approaching my level, and another confluence that I could use is divergence. Okay. All right. So you can see that I have divergence on the RSI. So what I'd like to see is if price comes to this area and gives me an entry reason, the divergence would be another confluence that I could use to enter this particular trade. Okay, let's say if you don't understand divergence and we don't want to use divergence, right? Let's say if we want to use something else. What about if we wanted to use something like a double bottom or a double top? In this case, since we have an uptrend, we will look for potentially a double bottom. So one of the things on the weekly is that notice how price is approaching the support level. Now look here where we previously rejected off of the level, right? And I'm saying, okay, this is on the weekly. We're still in an uptrend. I could possibly get a little double bottom right here, but that candle looks really, really strong right now. So in that case, I don't know if that's going to be a confirmation. What I could do is drop down on the daily time frame, and now I could see, do I have a double bottom on the daily? So even though I'm trading off the weekly time frame, I could move down to the daily and look for my confirmation there. So look at this candle as it approaches the zone. It's not slowing down right now. It's not showing any wick rejection. So one thing I do want to see is, are we going to possibly dip somewhere within this zone here to show some type of wick rejection? And then we could take our buy right within that zone, giving us a nice little double bottom here. This would be our neckline of the double bottom. And now just pay attention to this daily, because if we were to go long from this daily perspective, this would be a counter trend to the daily. However, remember, we have an uptrend on the weekly. So we want to see, is price going to show some weakness at this level? So I'm walking you through these steps just to show you that it's really easy to create your own system. If I am a long-term trader, like a swing trader, and I want to hold this trade for maybe a couple days to a couple weeks, again, I'm going to start out on the weekly time frame. I'm going to find an identified trend. So is the trend upward? Is it downward? Is the trend stagnant? Is it sideways? Okay, I'm not looking for a stagnant trend. So I want to find a very good bullish trend or or a clear bearish trend. And if I don't have that, I stay out. So that's rule number one. Rule number two is price has to come to my level of interest. Okay. So price is at my level of interest. It's approaching. And now I want to get some type of entry reason as to why I want to enter the trade. We like to keep things very, very simple. I don't like a lot of indicators. I like to use indicators for confluence, but I don't like a lot of indicators. So preferably, I just like a naked chart and price action. It just makes everything much more clear. It's nice to just pop on, something when you need it, or things that you've learned over the years, just to use it as additional confluence. It just makes the trade entry even stronger, in my opinion. So price is at my level. Now, the third rule, this could be whatever you want it to be, because you're just going to go and test it out, and you're going to see, do these 3 or 4 rules apply every single time the way you trade? Not every single time, but majority of the time that you trade. Can you get about a 80 to 90% outcome on this particular setup? And if you can, that's awesome. Even if it's 70% and you manage your risk wisely, then it's great. So now, after we determine that, after we have our 3 or 4 rules, which I've gone over with you, the next thing is to determine you have your entry criteria rules. Now you want to determine your risk to reward. So if I am trading off the weekly time frame, typically we use at least about 100 pips stop loss or more as a swing trader. Really, the longer the target, the more larger the stop loss, because you're going for longer targets. So let's say, for example, I'm going to go ahead and add a 50-period moving average for confluence. I like to use the 50-period moving average. And as long as price stays above my 50-period moving average, it rejects off of my level of interest and continues to trade in this uptrend, then I will continue to go long. However, if price breaks below my 50-period moving average, for example, so now I have to test that out and say, okay, if I get in right now and if price comes near my 50-period moving average, that's about 133 pips. Do I want to have a stop loss that wide? Maybe not. If I feel like price could come down to mid area of this zone, okay, so about 1.7500, maybe I will wait there, set a limit order, and then put my stop loss below that. So maybe I could put my stop loss, let's say, for example, I'll plan an entry at 1.7500 and I'll plan an entry right at about 1.7440, so that if price comes right to the trend line support, I will enter another position. Then I can drop my stop loss outside of the trend line or below the 50-period moving average comfortably, maybe about 100 and I would say 40 pips, maybe 100 and I would say even 150 to 175 pips would be sufficient in my opinion. Now, if this uptrend continues on the weekly, what is my potential profit target? So if I enter here, if my best position is entered at 1.7440, I could possibly take this back to previous weekly resistance, which is about 367 pips. Perfect. So if I'm going to risk about 100 and let's say 30 to 50 pips, I at least want to see if I can make at least double that. If all goes well, I could make at least a minimum of what I'm seeing technically from the chart is about 360, a little over 360 pips. And if I can even get a little higher back to this area here, that would be about 535 pips. So this would be a good trade setup in my opinion. And you can just continue to monitor it over the next few days and see how it goes. So I just gave you a high probability setup. Price is definitely moving into a very strong reversal area. And I'm just simply walking you through steps of how to create your own trading system. The main thing is you want to pay attention to your trading style. You might be in a lot of online chat rooms and there's one strategy after another being discussed. You really have to do your best to quiet the noise, or else you'll find yourself all over the place. It's great to be in an area where there are traders focusing on one high probability or maybe 2 or 3 high probability strategies that you're consistently learning about and being able to put that into practice and seeing how it works, the outcome of it. And you have a group of traders maybe growing together, discussing that. That's what we strive for in our community, or how we try to lead our traders. Is we really don't want you doing a whole lot of things, because all it does is keep you running in circles. You're trying all these different things and it only leaves you confused. When you find a high probability system that works, it's simple, it matches your learning style and your comfort zone, your risk tolerance, you want to continue to put that into practice and just test it over and over and over again and try to get a consistent high probability outcome with that, so that you can be consistently profitable. So I hope that helps you. This is just simple steps of how to create your own system using the tips that I just shared with you. And while you're at it, you can look at Euro NZD as a high probability setup, because I do believe that we are going to see a bounce from this level. So comment below and let me know just one thing that you took away from this video, and maybe something else that you look forward to in our future content that would be helpful for you. That gives us ideas on what to keep bringing to you in terms of YouTube content. Otherwise, if you you are a new or struggling trader, I encourage you to check out the Academy and all that we offer. Our website and everything that we have available to you is listed in the description of the video and also on our YouTube page. Guys, I hope that you found value in this, and I will see you in the next video. God bless, and I hope you have a great trading week.